Good? Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order, 5:33 p.m. So item 1, remember to speak clearly into the microphone, shut off your cell phones. So approval of minutes, item number 2. So approval of our February 22nd, 2023 Commission Service Meeting minutes. Does anybody have any comments on those? A motion to approve our minutes from February?
A motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Good. All right. Item 3, public comment. Any person may directly address the commission at this time on any item not on the agenda or on any item that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker. Any public comment? Nope. Okay, no public comment. Item 4, dog park discussion and update, report by our community service director, Adam, and subcommittee. So,
Well, good evening, commissioners. Thank you for joining us tonight. I just have a brief update on the dog park. So we are a tad behind from our last report. But at the last council meeting, council went ahead and approved the engineering and landscaping architect task order for the dog park. That was a step the engineer said that we had to take prior to the releasing of the rendering. And so once that got approved, we sent that to the architects, and so they are now currently working on a rendering of the project. I was backwards thinking that it would be something we'd get beforehand, but it's not the case. So that was approved by council on the 19th, and so going forward, we'll wait for that to come out. Once the rendering is released, commission here will have an opportunity to review it, the amenities that are included in it, to make sure that it matches the grant scope for the state for what we submitted 2 years ago, and then go from there and then continue the development of the design and landscaping. And we'll be working closely with the subcommittee so that we can make sure that everything is captured that the community is interested in seeing at the dog park. So with that concludes my report, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have.
awesome. Good. Well, that's exciting. Any questions or good? Okay. Thanks, Adam. Item number 5, Commissioner's report on the park analysis. So, did you guys, I know last time in February, we talked about visiting the parks. You guys have any comments on Heritage, Downtown Memorial? Yes? No?
I'm just thinking right now.
Oh, got it.
If I can interject, so just for commissioners that might not have been here, back in February, it was kind of talked to amongst the commissioners to kind of take an opportunity to visit the local parks and see if there were areas of interest that this commission wanted to see improvements or different projects that we could kind of look at for the next coming fiscal year. And I believe that was back in February. And so it was just an opportunity for you just to kind of go around, or if you have anything on the top of your head, specifically for those parks, because those are our parks of interest right now, and just kind of give those updates on what you think would benefit the community at this time.
I actually have something. I think it's Memorial, right?
Memorial's by the high school.
Yes. The bathrooms would be great to have them updated.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do have it on the list of potential projects, but the last time we talked to our engineering department, it was about $330,000 to get that project off the ground. So it is in our purview, but
Yeah. Just curious.
Okay.
Any other comments?
At Memorial Park, last time I checked, there was still the 3 slides coming off the main play structure. We've talked about those several times over the years to try to get those replaced to straight slides instead of curved slides. Kids get hurt on there all the time.
You're talking the one large slide with 3 different.
Yeah, they go down and they do sharp turns out.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And kids get hurt on there, bumped off all the time.
So you're requesting a replacement of the sides?
Right. Something safer, something straighter.
I think we're probably looking at both Downtown Park too, because Memorial Parks kind of has a little curve to it too.
Downtown Park too?
Yeah, and then that little what is that called? That
That
log
log?
thing.
The logs, and we've talked about that
Yes.
all the time too. That kids
Yes.
fall off that all the time. There's no
Yes.
railings, and it's the top of it is
It's dangerous.
feet up. And we've talked about that. From what I saw, there's two similar pieces that come off that play equipment. One is a slide, and one is the log, and they're reversible.
Yes, you can
So
turn
we
it
talked
the
about
other
why don't we
way.
just turn the log because kids start to go down there and they fall off all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't we just turn it over and make two slides? I think it'd be safer for the kids.
I saw a kid fall off of it recently. And stuff when Brian was there with Emery and stuff, and yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely looking at adjusting those. And then I know and then Heritage Park, I think the shade structure was something that was brought up when we went to go visit, and I would, make sure that that's kind of on our radar to kind of look out for grants, because I think the shade is important, and stuff. So, and then we also kind of talked about like sensory equipment too, to maybe be added to our parks and stuff. I know Diana took that one book.
Haven't gotten it back yet.
I
but
know.
I'm sure he still has it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, again, these will just be a list of projects that the city will compile, and these will be kind of our focus areas going forward. I mean, I know we have some projects on the docket now with the dog park and Athol Park, but these, if there is money that comes through the commission or to Parks and Recreation department, then we will definitely keep these in our focus. So, if there's anything else throughout the week, please just let me know, or if you have an opportunity later this week to visit the parks, just shoot me an email so I can include it.
I had a quick question on Memorial Park. What's the current state or status of the horseshoe pits?
Statuses are that it's functional. I mean, they could be better maintained, I think. But usability-wise, we don't get requests for use of the horseshoes. The city does have 2 sets of horseshoes that we can rent when people make park reservations, but we don't usually get requests for them.
Okay.
So they're there. It's
I remember talking about that. So we still do offer available sets of horseshoes for them.
We have 2 sets here at City Hall. So
Okay.
if people bring it up or they have questions and they'd like to use them, we can rent them out to them.
Oh, good, okay. And I know we've talked previously too about we had covers on there, right?
We did, and that created a problem with ants and termites in the sand. They're covered for long periods of time, and then when you take the covers off, they become burrows for the ants.
Okay.
So we removed the covers, and then it became an issue kind of with local cats using the sand as litter boxes. So there's really no win-win. We did restructure the bases or the framing around them to make it a little bit more sturdy. But right now, like I said, Public Works maintains them as best they can. We did pour new sand in there not too long ago. The city hosted their Easter picnic at Memorial Park.
Good.
So they were functional.
Right. That's good. And how are the barbecues holding up?
We used them during the company picnic. Our city manager, Alex Henderson, actually grilled burgers for all city staff.
Good.
And so he said that I asked his impression on them, and says they were well built, and they were usable. They were functioning. The only issue that we might have seen from the fire department was that how people remove their coals at the end of their event, and just making sure they don't leave them or they don't take them out and pour them on the ground somewhere. So that's a concern that they had that day was, do people take them with them? Do they cool them off and then leave them there, or are they dumping them in a trash can or leaving them by a tree somewhere? So there's that hazard that we have to look into. So
Okay, great.
Were those built by the high school?
we were,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Back in 2018 was this commission that brought that project about, and then welding. Was it a welding class?
Yeah.
Yep,
Probably the ag mechanics class or something like that.
We
Yeah.
were able to put those together at the park, and if you visit the grills, on the back of them, they have the names of the students that put them together. So those are there. So very nice project.
If I must say, they've done a nice job on the trees there.
Yeah.
The big tree looks a lot better.
We lost a couple of trees, but I think Public Works has done a good job with the maintenance of.
And what about the painting? We talked about repainting the
Yep. So
the
that's
stage
another
and the
project.
amphitheater and the bathrooms. They need to be, it's such a beautiful old place. It needs to be painted, and it's
How long ago was it when they were painted? Didn't we?
I remember that. 4 years, 5 years?
First years here, I think. So
Was it?
2017, 18,
So 6
somewhere
years.
around there. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but there is the request to paint the pavilion at Memorial Park, and I still have Melissa Bethel's original request to paint the shutters
Yes.
on the buildings to match the rest of it. So every time I pull up the spreadsheet, it's one.
It's probably why I keep thinking, oh, well, because I'm always hearing about the shutters.
That's fine. Those shutters are still the same color. So yes, that's in the works. So hopefully we can get that going. We have all the lights replaced at the Memorial Park Pavilion last week. So those that rent the pavilion by the playground, there were lights originally there, and so Public Works stripped them all out and put new LED lights so that people that use it in the dark can now have fresh lighting for their events. So all works.
Good. Any other comments or questions? Nope. Okay. Awesome. All right. Item number 6, Tri-County Healthcare District Grant Cycle 2023 discussion.
All right, and this is just a brief update to commissioners. Kingsburg Tri-County, their grant cycle is coming to an end. May 1st is the application deadline. This commission came up with a couple of ideas that we'd like to present to council, what we thought was necessary for the upcoming year, or what things we would like to request for the upcoming year. And what made it through council was the pour and play rubber surfacing at Downtown Park and Memorial Park. And so council said, yes, that's a good project to apply for. It came out to $72,000 that we were requesting from Tri-County for those two projects. And then on April 12th, I did a presentation to Tri-County, just kind of giving them a heads up on what the project would entail and what the city would be requesting. And again, it's for the pour to remove the bark at Downtown and Memorial Parks on the playgrounds, and then to go ahead and do the pour in place rubber surfacing that is now standard at all of our other parks.
Mm-hmm.
So any of the new developments that come in will have that as their base. So if that goes through, then it's great. It's a project we'll start late this summer and get done by the fall. And Heritage Park was another park that the city is applying funding for through the Clean California grant. It's a state grant. That applications are due again May 1st, and so we have our Townsend Public Affairs Group, I believe, is our grant writing group working on that application, and that includes shade structure at Heritage and pour in place play surfacing at Heritage Park. So that's my boss's, the city manager's directive, and city council. We want to put some love and attention into Heritage Park just as well as we do the others. So being optimistic, hopefully we hear more in June about those two projects. So.
Awesome. Good. All right. Item number 7, unscheduled matters for commission members. For discussion only, action may not be taken. Items must appear on the agenda as a specific item to be acted upon. Any of the commissioners have any things they might want to see on the future agendas or discuss?
I had a quick question. Do we does the city still offer that, I forgot exactly what it was called, it was that grant system in place for, I think it was businesses or residents to redo landscaping throughout the city?
It was the drought tolerant, you can remove your turf replacement. Thank you, Carol. Yes, that grant application, I believe, is still in play, but I don't know if there's a current wait list. I know applicants are coming in, but I don't know how far council is on. I don't know if you would know.
No, yeah, that grant is still available to businesses and residents, and they haven't had a whole lot of applicants. I know that, but I believe it maxes out like at 5,000. I know one of my neighbors looked into it, and it was going to be like 20-something thousand, and he was hoping that he could get more from the city than just 5,000, I believe it is. But yeah, you can still apply for it. Businesses or residents can. Yes.
And that's for the turf replacement, right?
It's turf or drought or a drought tolerant.
Okay,
It doesn't have to be turf. It can be, succulents or whatever kind of plants they put in the front yards of the homes.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
Where's
Where businesses can do that. They can do turf, I know, for sure, but
where can we find that information?
City website
Okay.
or contacting Abigail Palsgard, our city clerk.
Cool.
She'll have the application.
Okay.
So I do remember that turf or the drought-resistant landscaping project, but do you remember before that? It may have been 2 or 3 years now, but there was some other type of grant program that, I don't want to call them flower beds, but there was some type of program where people could replace, not their flower beds on their property, but,
I know what you're talking about.
you remember that? Because remember we talked about on the west side of Erling Park.
Because didn't Paula do that there?
You remember that that all got redone there by actually the resident?
Yeah,
Remember that?
the Adopt a Planner program.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where they're,
And I think she actually did it herself.
yes.
I don't think she was aware of the grant program at the time. That was part of our discussion. But what was that grant program called? That was something different than the drought.
I don't remember a grant program for that. The Adopt a Planter program is what we currently have in place, but there's no grant funding for it. So I'm not quite sure. She eventually did it.
Yeah.
On her own, but then we just gave her a plaque that said this was adopted by.
Right.
I believe last name is Tucker.
Yeah. I remember when we had talked about that, and I remember there being something where, like, if there was areas like that that are city property, but it needs some beautification, and a resident wants to do something like that, there was a portion of that the city might contribute towards kind of that.
I was just wondering if we're still doing it.
I will have to look into it.
I remember when we had talked about that. Yeah.
I have
A
a
long
quick
time ago.
comment. It doesn't have to do with, donations or funding through the city, but something that has caught my eye with a business here in town, the town of Kingsburg, that bothered me, is a huge motorhome parked in the middle of the driveway here. It's, at one of the businesses, and some motorhomes, big eyesores. Are they allowed to just park their motorhomes anywhere?
I think there's a 3-day cap or a 3-day limit. So
Yeah, because this one was there for months and months, and I just kind of thought, it just really looked out of place, because it was, one of the tour buses, and it was sitting out there right close to downtown, so just didn't look really beautiful. Like the,
I mean, you can always either
Micro
report
grant,
it to a local concern online or just shoot us an address and we can send it to code enforcement. Definitely something to keep an eye out for.
Seth's found it. This is a micro grant.
Micro.
Does that sound familiar? Kingsburg Micro Grant Program. I was just wondering if we were still doing it, and what were the details on that? Because how that came about, I think one of us at the time read it in the paper or something. We asked about it because
that term does ring a bell.
we had
to me.
never heard about it, and then we're like, yeah, we're doing this beautification grant thing around the city, and we were kind of like at the time, we're like, should we know about that, or can we put some input or something? The commission at the time was asking about it, and we talked about it for a couple meetings, and then it kind of fell off the radar.
It still says that it's active on the city website.
Micro grant?
Micro grant.
Okay.
The reimbursement micro grant program, beautifying public space and parks, supporting community programs, provide safety benefits, improve overall quality of life for our community, and promote sustainable economic development. The program provides a reimbursement to an approved applicant for costs actually paid with the reimbursement range of $15,000.
And which properties did that apply to? I don't remember. Is it?
It just says public space or parks.
You're just curious. Maybe you could tell us next time.
Yeah, of course.
Has anyone what are the stats on that? Has anyone applied for that in the last year or two, or have we been able to? I think at the time the commission was saying that if somebody applies for that and wants to beautify a park or this and that, we think that's awesome, and we thought it was an awesome program, but we just kind of wanted to know about it and maybe have a little input on it or discuss it or something,
it actually makes a big difference, like how they've done it all along this street. And I know another area outside of here, and they did a lot of it, and around the parks, in the parks, or near the schools, with the little park bench and all the flowers every year, the ones that rebloom, and it really makes a big difference. It's beautiful.
So
Yes,
I think
will
we're,
report next month.
okay, perfect. And we were just, I think at the time, I'm just remembering, we we're curious that, like, where are those funds coming from? Is there like a certain little portion set aside for that particular micro grant program every year? And, what if it doesn't get used? Can we use it? Those were kind of questions we were talking about before, like, and things may have changed in the last few years. That was, I wrote that down. We started talking about that 2018.
Right.
So it's been a couple years. I just happen to remember it, so.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, I'd be more than happy to look that up and get you a report by next month.
Awesome.
One other thing I have on the docket is Kingsburg Senior Center's
I was going to bring that up.
next Friday. It's at the Senior Center. Right now we have 22 vendors that have signed up to participate, which is perfect for the amount of space that we have available in the new parking lot, which if you haven't seen the new parking lot, it looks great. So that project has been completed. But we do have some need for some volunteers, so if you guys are available that day from 9 to 2, I know Kelly is signed up, and so is Sarah. And really, it's just helping the seniors, placing vendors, helping at the raffle table, kind of walking around directing the seniors, where they need to go, and then possibly helping in the kitchen, just serving them their lunch. The lunch is going to be sponsored by Roadhouse, but it'll be prepared at the restaurant and then put together at the Senior Center. So that is just something the commission has kind of took on and kind of, putting it on together for the Senior Center. And so next Friday, if you guys have an opportunity to go out there and mingle with the public or just come out, please let me know. We'll be out there.
Are you looking for any more vendors, or are you pretty full?
We are pretty full. I mean, we always have rooms or spots. Any service that offers a service or resource to seniors in the Fresno area.
Okay.
And we wanted to go ahead and get all these organizations together in one spot so that seniors aren't necessarily looking or having trouble finding a specific need if they've got one. So we know like California Phones is coming out. They offer free phones to seniors with large numbers. We have Alzheimer's support groups that come out, and they're just here to give information, along with like FMAAA and their food services, Meals on Wheels, and stuff like that. So they'll be out there. And
What has been the outreach to the community to let the seniors know about this?
So it was on. Senior Inc. paid for ads on the radio and in the paper. The city has put it out on their newsletter and through the Chamber of Commerce, and then local churches have been giving the flyers and information. So I mean that's our outreach so far. I mean that's what we've gotten to be able to put out. Plus all the seniors that attend the Senior Center. We have about 200 registered seniors that come to the senior throughout the week, and so they all know about it. And so hopefully we can. Plus the radio started on Monday, so you might hear ads for it on the radio, and encouraging just Kingsburg and Fresno County seniors to come out and participate.
I did talk to Bitwise, and they were interested, so I'll follow up again to see if they're,
Yeah, if there's a service or some resources they offer to seniors that would either help them.
It would be kind of like tech stuff, like helping with phones or laptops or, whatever tech services seniors, and it'd be free and kind of teaching them how to navigate.
The commission actually brought that up a couple months ago. Is the Senior Center have resources for them to come in and do Zoom appointments with their doctors or teach them how to to utilize their devices.
Yeah.
We currently don't have that. So
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Right. Was there any discussion on that particular, as far as community outreach to the seniors to let them know about it? We have a couple senior residents in the city. Any flyers going out to like Valcomen Village?
So all our newsletters that go out do go to all the senior homes in Kingsburg that are registered. So we have about 250 registered senior homes that we do send them to. So they do go out to Marion Villa, they do go out to Linnea, Limar Apartments, Valcomen Village, and I forgot the one by the high school. The big apartment had the cat stuck on the ceiling on the roof.
Oh, I know.
Kern?
Yes, on Kern.
333 Kern?
Park Keys.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other big one I was thinking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. So we do have them out there, and they do have the flyers. And
Okay,
again,
good.
it's for anyone 55 or over.
Good.
So yeah, we're doing our best. The newsletters went out yesterday, so they should be receiving them this week.
And maybe social media, like just putting it.
Facebook,
Yeah.
the city does Instagram and Facebook. So
Yeah.
those are our two approved outlets for outreach for city events. So
I've seen some on social media. Yeah.
feel free to. I mean, if you have your own groups and you'd like to share it, please do. I can send you the flyer. You can go on the city Instagram or Facebook page, and the flyers are on there.
Okay.
Help us spread the word.
That's great.
Says from 9 to 2.
9 to 2. Yep,
On Friday.
on Friday.
Cinco de Mayo. Awesome.
Cinco de Mayo.
Right. Anything else? Nope. Okay. All right. Item number 8, adjourn. So 5:59. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion and a second?
Second.
Okay. All right. Meeting adjourned at 5:59.